it, let's go. Okay, so, roll call. I've done a check off. Everyone's here except Mrs. McFall. Let's real quick just introduce ourselves so that we know who we're in the room with and who we're working with. So if we do start an email chain at any point, then we'll know who it's attached to. So I'll go first. I'm Miss Dameron. I work with attendance and calendar and enrollments at the district office.
Shannon Tarter, principal at the high school. I'm Joyce McCoffey. I'm the nurse at Salem.
I'm Ruby Stevens. I'm the school president this year, and I work just down the road at
Rhonda Tibler, Russell County Middle School.
Tammy McFall, attendance work at Jamestown.
Brittany Creed, Russell Springs Elementary. Danielle Wilson, Lake Harbor Elementary.
KJ Webb, principal at Salem Elementary.
Michael Fortune, I'm here, but I'm not.
Brittany Buffin, I'm going to board.
Morgan Glover, parent.
Hey, outstanding. Okay, so inside your packet, you have a few documents. The first document is about a 7 or 8 page document, and I always like to give you the statute, the Kentucky Revised Statute, that kind of guides the calendar committee, because there's some very specific things that it says, including telling us the things that we have to, the people that are on the committee, which has already been taken care of because the board did that. And then it defines things like what an attendance day is and what our schedule is. We have to have a minimum of 170 days of instruction, unless we were to do what's called a variable calendar, which is not start until the Monday closest to August, I believe it says 26. The only way you can do that is to have less than 170 instructional days, and that is not something that our administration has ever felt like was a good idea to have for kids to have less instruction. So that's kind of been one of those things that the only time I think we utilized that was during COVID. We utilized it so that we could stop, regroup, and figure out what to do during COVID. So we've always kind of gone with the premise of there's going to be 170 straight instructional days that our kids need that. They don't need less than that. So that takes us to this sheet, which is the calendar planning sheet, which has that 170 days of planning on it. And it also has kind of fleshed out for you what already has to be done. For example, there are some things that are already set in stone, where it says opening and closing. This statute requires that there is an opening day for teachers and a closing day for teachers, and that the days that the students attend, the 170 days of instruction, are sandwiched in between those. The 4 holidays, this statute says that we have to have Labor Day off, and in the state of Kentucky, we have to have Martin Luther King Jr. Day off. And our local school board has in its policy that our 3rd holiday will be Veterans Day. So when it comes to picking the 4 holidays that the statute says that we need, there's only going to be one that we really do pick, because the other 3 are already prescribed for us either in policy or the law. So if you jump down to the bottom, there's some additional notes that we always kind of take into consideration. The 127 yard sale, if any of you've ever tried to drive 127 and drop your kids off to school on a yard sale day, you realize that that did not work out well for us back in the day when we used to start school up on August 2nd, driving in that. November 22nd, I put that date on there simply because, and now that I've said that, that does not look right to me. So let me look at this calendar for May. Oh, no, that's right, November 26th, that's right. I was looking at it thinking that wasn't right. Okay, but November 26th, the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, we, for years, probably 8 years in a row, put that on the, 7 or 8 years in a row, put that on the calendar survey. That was consistently, there was never a single person that said, no, we want to go to school on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving because families travel, and that just seemed to be a day that people wanted flexibility. So I list that on there as a popular request, not something you have to do, but just that is a popular request, is that Wednesday. Christmas Day this next year will be on a Thursday. New Year's Day will be on a Thursday, and then I listed President's Day simply because that's been traditionally the day we do as our fourth holiday, so just in case you wanted to know when it fell, it does fall on February 16th, if that's what you choose to do. And then additional information that I always give you is I always give you the dates of when the home football games are, because we have at times considered that for our fall break. And the reason we do that is not because we give preference to football, but because football home game ticket sales funds a lot of athletics. So that's just something, when it's been possible, we've considered it. It's a little wonky this year, so you may not be able to go with that this year because there's no home football game on October 3rd, but there is on October 10th, which would be that first full week of fall break, which is when people traditionally expect that we take fall break. So when we get to that part, we can let the starters speak to that about what their thoughts are on that. That just happened to be the way it worked out. It was a little wonky, and Mr. Parker checked that for us a couple different times to make sure that was right. So, okay. You also have in here this year's scheduled instruction, just in case you wanted to look at it. You don't have to, but that's just if you wanted to reference something. And then you have the blank calendar grid, which what our job is now is to try and fill in what we need to do a blank calendar. So I can get us started simply by saying that we know we have to be off on September 1 for Labor Day. So on your blank calendar grid, if you want to go ahead on September 1, and however you want to mark that with an H for holiday or whatever you would like to do, so that you know when we are counting instructional days and trying to get to 170, that is not one of them. Also, Veterans Day on November 11th, we know that's going to be a holiday and that we're going to be out of school as per board policy. And we know that January 19th, Martin Luther King Day, that's going to be our third holiday that is already set in stone for us because of the statute. And that's where we jump off. So before anyone jumps in with filling anything else, I will tell you, it has tended to work best if we kind of go from in and work out. Meaning, if we try to like right off the bat say, oh, let's start school on this date and be out this date and try to fill it in, then we don't get it all. It seems to work better from the inside out. Is that about,
Yes.
Would you agree with that?
I agree.
Okay, from the inside out. So we might want to look at some fall break, spring dates, some of that stuff that we know we're going to pick, and then work outward. But before we do that, does anybody have any questions about anything I've said so far? Everybody know what we're doing?
Can I ask one just so that I can answer it for the public or people that have asked me?
Yes, yes.
And I understand the variable calendar and that we do need I agree that we need the 170 days of kids here. Our main reason, what would be the fewest days so that I can show them that it's not that, yes, we may go more days than maybe a different county. What would be the fewest days we would go to school if we picked that calendar? Does that make sense?
Yes, but as long as it doesn't go by days, it goes by
By the
hours and then divide it up.
Okay.
It
Okay.
would.
So my answer to them needs to just be that it's the hours, and
That's
you have to
62
put in the
hours.
same amount of hours, whether it's done in 170 days or 165 days.
6.5 is what the 6 hour.
Well, it's 1,062, so it depends on
Your calendar
many are
day.
how many days you have, yes.
How many hours are in each?
How many hours are in each school day, yes.
So just just explain that it's based on the hours. Everybody's doing the same amount of
Correct.
hours.
6.5 hours,
Correct.
163 days.
Okay.
If you divide it by 6.5 hours a day, that's 163 days.
So
I mean, I don't know where, I don't know where the number space at that.
And that's close enough. I just need to be able to explain to them
Really a week difference.
that, yeah, that we're still putting in the same amount of time because of the
I don't know,
hours.
I don't understand either.
Right now, because not all of our days consider instructional minutes. Right now, the school with the least amount of instructional minutes is 385, and when you divide that by 60 minutes, 6.4 is what we do right now. We get in 6.4 hours a day.
Because it goes by the school.
166 days. So essentially, 6 days.
Four days.
4 days. Okay, okay.
And that's what I was thinking. I was thinking that on the way our hours are right now, they would be about 166 days.
Okay.
Yeah, it'd be about 166 days. We have used those extra hours before in times when, like, for example, if, let's say we have a bad winter and run out of NTI days, and the legislature throws that little caveat out there before they close that,
Yeah.
that we can, everybody can go to that they waive the day requirement, that's when we use those hours.
Those
And we've
hours.
done it a few times in the past
Okay.
where we've not had to make up those days because
Right.
we've had a few hours, banked.
I just want to make sure I was explaining it to somebody outside the committee.
I wouldn't
correctly.
want to talk to parents and say, hey, we want your kids less days.
Right,
That's not a conversation
Well,
that I
and
think I can support, and I don't have a vote on the committee by statute, but I wouldn't want to take that to the board either. That's not something that I've ever supported, of spending less time with kids.
well, and this was
Yeah.
faculty, so I just want to make sure I was explaining it correctly and not telling somebody something wrong.
Okay, any more questions or? Okay, so, we can start with, right off the bat, with what you want your fourth holiday to be. We can talk about fall break, spring break, we can jump in the middle somewhere. We can talk about Christmas break and mix that, wherever you want to start.
I've heard people don't like getting out on December 23rd, because it's too close to Christmas.
Okay,
It's a Friday this year, wasn't it, or no? All the way to Friday.
Yeah.
Then also on the other hand, if we move it to Wednesday, we miss our 3 weekends.
well, the good news is
But
this
that,
time.
we got out later December because we started so much later.
Yeah.
That's why that happened.
6 to 1, goes on the other.
I was saying, the good news is this year, it will be December the 19th. So if you did 2 full straight weeks, it would be December the 19th.
Gives them 2 days before Christmas.
And then if you do, yes, because the 1st is gonna be on that Thursday.
So would you go back on the 2nd or the 5th? To me, I would think the 5th.
Oh, we wouldn't go back on Friday.
That's, right, that's 2 full weeks.
Go
Would be
through
the last day.
the last day.
This
So
will
it's
be
gonna be
the
after
Friday.
19th.
And then go back on Monday the 5th.
That's an extra day. So you guys are thinking right now, mark through the 22nd through the 26th and the 29th through the 2nd? Yes. Okay. Okay, so that would take care of Christmas. Do you want to go ahead and look at Thanksgiving? Because that's an easy one.
I think you've got, everybody's so used to that Wednesday at this point.
Okay, so 26, 27, 28. Takes care of Thanksgiving. That takes care of New Year's.
Would we're off on the 26th, so we'd be going through the 25th, right?
Yep, go Tuesday, 20.
Okay, and then off.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Do you have thoughts on the fourth holiday? Do you like doing the President's Day in February as the fourth holiday?
It's been President's Day many years since.
It has. And we won't host swim this year, because we're hosting swim this year, so we won't host swim next year, which means that there won't be a break in February other than President's Day if you take President's Day. Okay. So,
What's that date?
that is February the 16th, Monday, February 16th. So if you mark that, and that takes care of President's Day, which brings us to spring break and fall break.
We won't have, this year, we won't have an election that we have to be out on.
Oh,
No,
thank you.
nothing,
Did I
nothing on
put
the
one
Yeah,
agenda?
I don't think they're doing schools, didn't they change that, where they're not gonna use the schools anymore either way?
They're not an election.
That is
No.
not, that is not officially changed. Well, we've not been notified
I thought that was the thing.
Tony shares that.
Okay, what about in the, but now wait a minute, I don't have the May date on here for 26th though, primary election.
There's not an election this coming year.
in
So
2025.
there won't be a
But we'll do
2025, but
26
we,
school year.
May 20, there will be that day,
Of 2026.
2026,
That'll be the,
Secretary of State's website.
yes. And I thought I had it on here, sorry guys.
it's gonna say that.
Let me double check that.
It's
Oh, okay.
Election calendar. Right. Okay, so 2026. Yes, US Senate. Oh, and it's the governor's race that year. 2026.
What date is that?
So that would be, okay, but what is it again? Brent, is it
I believe it's May
It'd be the 4th.
May the,
26th, I believe.
it is that's the fourth Tuesday? Not the
May 26th is Memorial.
No, that was Monday.
25th. Oh, I thought it was the third Tuesday. Is it not the third Tuesday?
Well, I thought it was 4th, but it might be. It's the first Tuesday in November.
I had the statute pulled up and then forgot to put it on here. Sorry. Primary election. Well, this year was May 21st. So that would have been the third Tuesday. Yeah, the third Tuesday. So then it'll be May the 17th. Oh, no, excuse me, May the 19th, sorry, May the 19th. Okay, so we have to be out that day for election, May 19th, if we get that far.
Do we have to be if they're not in the schools?
If they're not, in
The only time you have to go if you're not in schools is presidential.
yes, only presidential.
We've been told that before. Where did you do that? That's dangerous.
Okay, so we'll mark that out for now, May 19th. Okay. Okay, so fall break, spring break.
What's Ms. Carter's on the fall break?
Are we taking the 19th
I'll
or?
text Daryl.
We'll have to be out.
I'll text Daryl.
We'll double check.
aligned pretty much with everybody on that first week. The first full week, you know, 6th through the 10th.
That's one of your ball games.
That is a home ball game.
I mean, I felt like starting later this year, it would have been okay to go another week and then fall break, but now that might be a touchy subject with some.
We got to fall break really quick.
It felt like we
Yeah,
got
because we
there
started
really
later,
quickly,
yeah.
and I've been there
Yeah.
for what seemed like a few weeks, but I know that'll really not be something people like to know.
That, but then I hate to,
So say if there's a football game, you want to be here.
want to be here for the
So
cash,
you
so
think
that
we
would
have
bump
to
it
be-
So
to
the away game would be the
13th
17th.
through the 17th.
Be the following week or the first.
Just a cautionary tale, we're deviating from something that we've always
We've always
done.
done, that's what I'm saying.
Parents plan things
And,
a year in advance, cruises and everything. That's
again, it's
what we
aligned with the
usually
state, I mean, schools all over.
Yep.
That's the traditional, you know, so.
How bad will that hurt us, do you think?
do. It was an away game this year, it wasn't during fall break.
I think so. Do we know who we play?
Oh, I had that,
Know
yes.
who we play?
Yes, I got it in email.
Because that.
Carpenter said it.
That's a big factor too.
Yes, I remember seeing it too.
We've done it before, we have had spring break, fall break with all games.
Home against Boyle County.
Well, I wasn't gonna say it, but
Just saying.
I'm just saying, just saying what?
Just like with you.
Attendance might not be real great that night,
Oh, okay.
just saying.
Because it's so.
Well, it's just uneven, it's uneven, it's just, you know, they did, as I heard just this weekend, Boyle County can probably take on Lindsey Wilson.
Okay. And when?
And win,
So all their parents will come, so we'll get all their ticket sales.
they won't come,
Oh.
they won't, I don't, they won't come, they didn't really, I mean, they won't come to
They
that.
didn't have a big crowd at their own home.
No.
Most of them are not from there.
True, but their parents won't come here to see them, it'll be a running clock.
Oh, okay.
It'll be a running clock, I mean, I hate to say that, but it just will, we're just not there, we're just not there.
And I say we keep it the same, just to keep,
Yeah.
so we do
go
have
first.
parents that schedule for, like this year, they already
Vacation.
scheduled
Yeah,
next
yeah,
year's
so-
vacation.
And with that, I mean,
Okay.
that's
So
why-
y'all are good with keeping it the same, 6 through the 10?
I'm just gonna say this, I don't care when it is, but if you ever thought about moving it, I mean, you would have to do it, something like people scheduling a year in advance, it's just like they're assuming. If there ever was a change, I mean, people are just gonna have to, they're gonna have to move with it, because
Yeah.
things can't always stay the same, I can see
Yeah.
that.
And they would grumble and rumble, and they would do it, but, since that's the opponent, I think.
I mean, this year, it was a week later, because we started, wasn't it? It wasn't the
No,
first full
no.
week.
Yes, it was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with the first full week.
Yeah. Yeah.
The first one
First
fell on like a
game.
Monday or Tuesday, but it was the first full week.
Yeah, we were staffed.
For like 6 weeks.
That's why I was counting.
So we're at the same time.
You get 6 weeks.
If it would be a Dare County game, or, you know, that's just the case, it just big, huge rivalry, I'd say we have to look at it, but I just think.
Who's the next week? If we went to the next week, who do we play the next week? That's
It's
away.
away,
It's an
yeah.
away game, yeah.
But does it affect our would it affect our players, like being able to be there and stuff, if they were on
Well, they could
vacation?
come to the game, yeah, they would.
You know?
Yeah, either way, it's gonna, I just think keeping it the way we are now it's okay.
Okay.
Well, one good thing about it, if we keep it the way it is now, football, as far as football goes, giving them time off, they're off on October 3rd. So as long as you encouraged your coach to not make them practice that weekend. They can maybe do a long weekend in Monday or Tuesday.
They're told, they don't.
We don't travel
They don't travel.
Okay,
We
no
don't
travel.
travel.
They don't
Okay.
travel.
Okay, no travel.
They're told.
No travel.
Don't travel.
I like basketball.
They made plans to.
And their tournaments during Christmas. I'm like, sure, goodness, okay. All right. Okay, so 6th through the 10th. All right, what about spring break? Same, are you thinking same thing, first full week of April, sticking with that?
6th.
Or are you thinking something different? It is.
It's traditionally when it is, right? March is just, February, March are incredibly long months.
They are. Good for, oh, Easter. Easter is on the 4th, or no, the 5th, I mean,
Oh, that's good.
which is good.
That's
Yes, it's
good.
always
Friday, Good Friday would be on your
Yes,
third.
Yeah.
because after Easter weekend, like, the kids are exhausted.
Didn't have people, we had requests for.
Okay, well, that's a possibility we could look at.
But we had.
Okay, so if we pencil in the 6th, if we pencil in the 6th through the 10th, and you said people, you had some people that asked for Good Friday, can we put like, could we put like a question mark there, and as we start counting days, see how it falls, and see what you all think about that? It wouldn't be a holiday, because it would just be a day off, because we only have 4 paid holidays. But we can take a day off anytime we want.
I have had people ask me about that
Yeah,
as well.
okay.
I don't know that it's, I mean,
Easter's gonna be
doable, but
that close, it would be, yeah. Okay, it would be, okay, so that's a possibility. Or if you all are, if everybody's in agreement of that, we could go ahead and exit out, and then if we have to revisit it, we can erase.
On the 3rd. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, that would be Good Friday.
No.
I don't know if it's,
The plan where I work, we have one, I'm sure, a bunch of kids from them, and we have that day off.
You do have that day, okay, no, that's important, that is important for us to
That's
know.
good, Ms. Brittany.
Because we
Share that
talked
stuff, yeah.
Yeah, Brittany, we talked a lot last year. We took a lot of parent consideration into it last year and thinking about how it affects parents when we're
So-
either in or out of school.
so I mean, that might be the day to
Yeah,
go ahead and use.
especially if they're traveling to family over the weekend, so, okay. So we can let's X through it for now and go from there. Okay? I'm sorry, is that forever to draw an X or Friday? I should have drawn a cross. I have to draw a cross instead.
Ms.
Sorry,
Brenda said everybody should have pencils.
it's a cross.
You should have brought one.
Well,
Snacks,
I had a thing I was bringing, and then I was tied up with Miss Tarter all day and never made it to my office, so it's her fault. Sorry. That's my fault.
Just in here in the middle, we'll shame you.
Just shame me and throw darts.
You know I should have ready. Okay. Ooh, yes. Okay, couple more things that we can talk through. Mrs. McFall could not be here.
They, as of now, the schools, they're all.
Asked specifically if we would consider, I'm sorry, Mrs. McFall represents our curriculum department. And some of the data points during the year for testing and other things, curriculum, things that the teachers are doing that her and her coaches work with. She asked specifically for the March 16th day. This day, we nixed the March day because we started later and we were trying to get out before Memorial Day. But she said that day is going to be greatly missed. And so she asked if we would consider March 16th, that Monday, for a planning day for the curriculum department, teachers and the curriculum department. So she asked that. So how, if you want to consider that, question mark, whatever. She also said to remind you all that the day we come back from fall break, which in this case will be October 13th, that we will have our testing data and analysis, and that's typically the day that we do a professional development day there to analyze the state test data, and to get ready for the rest of the year based on that. So that's the October 13th day, that will be PD. She also said just 2 more dates that she was just, I would ask you to look at, up to you whether you do or not. She said if we made the PD day on the 13th, followed by a planning day on the 14th, she said that she could send everyone back to their departments to realign some of their teaching, like for example, all the social studies teachers and all the math teachers and some of that. Because they could go back and plan on the 14th of October if you wanted to do that. She said that was a possibility. And she also talked about in January, the Friday before Martin Luther King Jr. Day. We had in the past done the first day back in January as a PD day, professional development day, and that did not go well, admittedly. We have all admitted that it's just, people are exhausted from Christmas. We're better off to just come back and get to work because people are not, they're ready, it's just not a good day to be in planning mode. But she said if we came back and worked a couple of weeks and then took that 16th to plan for second semester and regroup with our departments, she thought that that might be a good day. So I'm just bringing you what she sent as a request, if that's something that you felt like you could do or could make it work. So again, she asked for October the 14th as a possibility and January the 16th as a possibility.
The 13th's an automatic, right? The 13th is it's a PD, right?
It has to be done.
Right.
So it's an automatic as in, you can say no, but it has to be done at some point. So if you say no to the 13th, you'll have to pick another day that week. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, I mean,
And
it
then
has to be done at that point.
The 16th is a what?
The
Is it
16th,
planning or PD?
so the 16th, would be in January, would be a planning day. It would be a planning day.
Okay.
That would give
Yeah.
kids 4 days.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, as far as the high schools, we had to shift our semester to equal out.
Uh-huh.
Our second semester is not going to start until we come
For
out.
this year. You're talking about this year.
Yeah, well, in January.
Yeah.
Yeah, it will not start until after Department of So that planning day would be good for us to kind of finish up, get everything ready, and then see where we're going.
If you think that
If that
happens.
happens next
25,
year.
26.
Right.
If it happens, but it may not happen that way.
And you can always put that in for now as a planning day. And when you start counting days here in a minute, if you're like, no, I don't like where that makes us in, you can come back and say, no, take it back out.
But the kiddos would like that.
They would like.
Kiddos would like, kiddos would like it.
They would like the 4-day weekend.
I think they would love that March day off too. March ain't got nothing out.
It's already changed.
Yeah.
March is so long.
I mean, February, you get a few snow days maybe, but then March is like.
And snow days aren't like
And
real
snow
snow days
days are
anymore,
not-
because they're long days.
It's still, yeah, it's not really good on the traditional snow.
Like a good traditional
But,
Yeah.
you know,
We want flexibility.
What was the March then?
It was
It was the 16th day that she was wanting for a planning day there.
a plan.
I may have said, and I may have said PD, and honestly, for you all planning, it won't make a difference. You'll just know, don't count that as an instructional day. It'll just be a day won't go in the 170. So if you were to, for now, X out, October 13th, October 14th, then January 16th, and March 16th. And then again, you can always go back and put them back in a minute when you start counting if that doesn't work for you.
How many PD days are we gonna have built into our calendar?
Okay, so if we do, okay, so however she does it, PD or planning, however she plans those days, it's 9 in all. PD
Okay.
and planning together is 9.
Okay,
So if you do 1, 2, 3, 4, that would be 4 right there, which would put you doing 5 before school starts.
before school starts, okay.
Yes. So, which is quite doable. But that would be the 4 that she requested of the 9 inside the calendar.
I'm just curious, do teachers prefer on Mondays and Fridays?
Is there for more through the summer and less during the year? Like, what's the consensus for teachers?
I mean, on Fridays, I'm checked out, so,
Yeah.
I'm just
Well,
curious.
The idea is, Big Room is wrong, she don't want to teach, have a day off, feeding the kids, and
Right.
come back and get back up. That's not good.
I want some consistency there, yeah.
And the issue too is sometimes when we do them, like when something happens and we're off on a Wednesday, for parents that have the luxury, they might say, oh, let's just go ahead and leave and go somewhere and take a 5-day weekend. And it's like, no, we have school Thursday and Friday, come back. So it is sometimes hard to get kids back. Like on a snow day, if we have a snow day on a Wednesday, sometimes it's hard to get them back on Thursday and Friday.
What was her reason?
Yeah, I know.
What was the reason for wanting the 14th in October? I know for planning purposes, my thinking as a teacher is that's just a long time that early in school to be off.
Sure.
And I know one day's not that big of a deal. I know, I'm
No,
fine with it if we need to do that, but as a teacher, I'm like, whew.
She had just said that after you all analyze curriculum, you might want a day for planning to go back to your departments and
Look at what we need
re-look at curriculum.
Okay,
But that doesn't have to, but it doesn't have to be there. It doesn't have to be, again,
and that makes sense.
yeah. So that could be one, if you think that's too much to be out a week and then 2 more days, then, you know. And I do think from a parent's perspective there too, I get that too, that's 7 days. If you don't get fall break off and you're working fall break and then you come back and you still have 2 more days, I get that too, that's sometimes hard on parents.
Oh, single out Mr. Ron in the spring as far as teachers wise. No, the past couple of years, we kept June to July, it's pretty much free. You all are done, you don't have to think about June and July as far as PD and planning and stuff like that. Feedback from that, like that, and then you kind of start August and you know, okay, summer's kind of over, you know, for teachers.
But I like that, especially I have a small child and I like knowing that I
You
can
could-
just check out
And
and
that's kind of
Summer.
Mr. Fall's direction on that.
June,
Instead of having to think,
Yes.
okay, now when do I come back in, you know?
Yeah.
Mr. Ron?
And I enjoy that too, and not having it spread out all throughout. Because if you
Right.
do something 2 days or 3 days in June and 2 or 3 days in July, you don't feel like you've had that extended
Okay.
break.
And Ms. Tarter polled her staff, and that was overwhelming.
I just did a little quick, just 3 questions basically. When should school start? How would you like your PD structured for next year? And what other considerations? And that was it. So it was like, can you see the numbers? PD wise, 88% when it bundles, like in August. Bundled in as much tightly as we could get it, we get it over with in a week. I was like, wait, look how much we did. And have that June and July. They really like that.
And for those of you that don't work in the school system, they don't get paid in the summer for days. And they get paid for those days, yes. But like, if you work one day in the 1st of June, you work one day the 2nd week of June or whatever, you're only getting paid for that one day. So like, you're not really being able to plan anything or do anything or get a second job or do something else, but you're not getting paid for the rest of that week. You're only getting paid for that one day. So it's just easier to just say, you're not working here. You're off the clock. Go do your thing for 2 months. And some of them do use other jobs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I think, okay, so again, we can play with that day.
And I'm good either way,
Look
yeah.
at, we can do whatever we want to with that day, but I think we're kind of ready probably to now start looking at, okay, what are you thinking for a start date, end date? How do you want to go about? Who's got a suggestion?
Well, if we're going by my survey,
Okay,
got it right here. 76.5% want to go back to the 13th, yeah, starting earlier.
That's been my biggest complaint I've had, is starting that late.
So,
That's what they overwhelmingly wanted to do.
so that would be the August 13th.
Yeah, that's what they said, start school year August 13th.
Start counting days then.
But I mean, that's just,
You said that was 3/4?
yeah,
Everybody that I talked to said the same thing.
I mean, that's, we're gonna think about that.
you got the 4th, yeah.
And you're gonna open house now too.
But a lot of times you want to take that in, while you're in plan. Yeah,
Oh,
what day
no.
is that?
Yeah,
Stay with
okay.
that list.
Cheese County days.
I've got it. I want to say 6.
So we usually have our house the week before school starts. Open house on the 5th.
Taken is, okay, that was the spreadsheet she sent me. I couldn't open it, then she gave me access to it. She has that. Oh, Kaden, October 5th.
No.
I mean, August 5th, excuse me.
August.
What she was planning is she's got August 4th, August 5th, August 6th, August 7th, August 8th.
PD plan.
PD planning. So that whole week of August 4th through the 8th.
Kagan is,
The Kagan is the 5th.
Start school on the 13th too.
Say that again, Jen.
You take that whole first week of August for PD and planning, and school starts the 13th, you can't get all your open houses.
Now, August 8th is the online training. That's what August 8th is actually not when your
That's your
employees
safe
will
schools.
report on. That's your safe schools training.
oh, yeah,
Because we
yeah,
usually do our elementary, usually does ours a week
you do it a week.
before, because
You do. Middle and high school, I mean,
you all do yours the
we do it on
11th
the,
and 12th.
on the 11th, we split it, yeah, opening
And we usually
day,
do ours the week before.
opening day the 12th, and then kids come on the 13th, but it
No, we
is.
normally do it the Tuesday. We usually do it the week before school starts. It would be the August 5th. But we wouldn't be at school, we have to go to our opening day, the same day as open house.
But you could have her, but you could trade out with her. Like one of those that she's got listed as a planning day, you could say to her, okay, we need to do our opening day and open house this day. So we need to move that to either the 11th or the 12th.
We did the 13th, we'll be open day, right?
Not for us. We got a week early, because the middle and high school is theirs. Yeah, so that's why we look at the middle and high school, then theirs goes to them, so that we
Kids, well, no, kids, no, kids would come on, they would come on, that big,
We'll be back in.
right, that's what about them.
I've got, if we started on the 13th, took September holiday, took 2 days in October plus fall break, took November Veterans Day, and those 3 days, got out, I've got those 81 days. Anybody else count?
Nobody else can.
Okay.
But we're still.
Okay, so So KJ, if we put all 4 of those days she requested inside the calendar and started on the 13th, that would give you 5 days plus the opening day to do outside, which you could trade out with her somehow, and you'd have the 4th through the 8th, well, you could do the first two. You'd have the 4th through the 8th and the 11th and the 12th to get those 5 days plus your opening day in. So you'd still have 1 day to play with, plus the first, if you want to be off on the first.
Be squished, but we may, I mean, we can do it.
Were you thinking later?
Well, if we're doing like we did last year, where we built it in, which I think the teachers like that,
Yeah.
I don't know, we can do that same setup we did this year and start, when we,
Yeah.
and start a week earlier. I don't think we can make, I don't think we can, I mean,
Because, you could do a compromise too and say, okay, just to give you one more day, you could say, okay, don't start on Wednesday, start on Thursday. Okay, so, yeah, that would give you one more day, that would give you 80 days, 80 versus, okay, and the reason we count days in the second semester is trying to make it even for them at the high school and the middle school, but again, 170 divided by 2, it's 85 days would make it even, but we talked before.
That's not, it's been a lot worse than that.
It's been much
It
worse
has
than
been.
that. So 80 and 90 is not bad because
She's talking about the division of the semester.
like, if you have 80 in the fall and 90 in the spring, okay, that's fine, but you gotta think in the spring, not all of those 90 days are the best days, because you've got testing in the spring, so you can take a few days off for that. You've got ACT, you can take a day off for that. NTI days, we do our best, but you all know that's not the same as being in the classroom all day with a teacher, so it's not as good of a teaching day as a fall day. So 80 days in the fall versus 90 days in the spring probably equates to the same amount of instruction, or what you're really getting, true good stuff, So 80 would be close enough, correct?
It would be,
Ms. KJ has concerns about that.
I just think you're gonna get some kickback on the 14th. What you brought up, like you had brought up too, that day, the 13th and 14th, I don't think you're gonna get a little bit of kickback from parents on that too.
Okay, so take the,
But no, I'm not saying take it off, I'm just saying that's something you're just, I just think it's something that
Yeah.
just to be thinking about, because they see that as.
Us taking a break.
sure, I get
But
that.
I'm not saying just take it off, I'm just saying, but if you take that off, then when you
Then you
realize
do
that's
have
one
to
more
add
day
it.
we have to add to the summary when you're trying
You
to
have to
make
add
it
it.
start earlier, it ain't gonna
Sure.
happen. So you're either gonna have to take some heat on the 14th, or we're gonna have to take some heat on the.
It is the 26th?
That's what she said. I've asked her to clarify that.
So the first Tuesday, okay. Gosh, if it's the 26th, then we might get out of, it may not be an issue, okay.
It's that election.
Yeah, I've asked her, so I said, so it is the 26th of May.
I think a thing with having the 14th as a planning day after you've looked at your test data, it is early in the year. You're just getting started, you're going, but yet that allows you time to restructure your year as well.
You have fall benchmark from after.
You have that,
too, in addition to.
and then you can restructure at,
No, never mind.
no, never mind.
No, she says it's the 19th, but you're 2026, and then it's in the head slap. So, we got it. It's the
Okay, it
19th.
is the 19th.
Okay.
We're good.
I think that would be a positive to have, because you can restructure. And again,
Listen, I'm good
I'm
with
coming from a different angle.
Yeah, and listen, I'm
So-
good with the 14th, because if you take that off, you're gonna get heat somewhere along the way. But you know what I'm saying, like,
Yeah.
we have to add that back to the summer, and then you're trying to start on the 13th, and we got all these PD days to get in, and opening house and open day, I think that's gonna be a struggle. I
Well,
know nobody really liked the 20th, but
Yeah.
if you're trying to get in, what, the flip side of that people don't see is that all this, that we have to also get in as
Right.
administrators.
Right.
And that's it's gotta come one way or the other.
is there another place you could put that planning day in the fall besides the 14th? That would butt up against something else that might
Would it be too
make it
late,
easier on families?
would it be too late on the 10th?
Well, that's kind of what I was thinking. Would November the 10th be too late for you all to regroup?
It'll almost be 3 months of school at that point.
since we'll be out on the 11th anyway? Okay,
Maybe that's a specific survey question.
so you like the idea of having those two together if you did want to do something that weekend?
It always, the question always arose to me, like with the November and the Tuesday, why would they never took Monday off anyway?
Sure, okay. Well, and Nathan, you guys probably with band, your child's going to be here on the 14th anyway, so you all couldn't plan anything, whereas maybe by the 10th of November,
The season's over.
that might give you more flexibility.
Maybe it's like fall.
Yeah.
But would that
We
be
can have
good
all
then?
We can, I mean, you sign your kids up on
We have our TLCs.
Uh-huh.
We have our PLC meetings, our department meetings, so they can already, I mean, we have the PD data, they can take that, because they would get they would have 3 PLC meetings in their department heads where they could take the data and then restructure.
Okay.
And then we could come back on the 10th
Of November.
as a bigger,
Okay,
as a group and talk about
Finalize
the
it.
overall plan of the department, yeah.
okay,
That might actually look a little better because it gives us
So-
time to get their game plan.
yeah. So we're changing the October 14th day to November 25th. Or excuse me,
Oh.
November 10th.
I was like, wait, what?
November 10th, sorry, okay. Yeah, if we're November 25th, we'll just take November 24th, be all, oh, wait.
Can we do that?
People often say that.
People often say that.
You know,
People really
My
do
sister
say that.
teaches this people, they don't
You know,
know.
can we just have PD planning before?
Yes.
They start there, it's.
No,
Okay, so
they get out of here, and now they start, like this year, they started
Right,
late
so
for
it's
late.
veterans stuff.
They have a little, they have like
That's
a
gonna be a
Friday, Saturday, Sunday,
Maybe, so.
Monday, fall.
Yeah. Then what would that give us in the spring? If we don't come back to the 5th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
We're doing that for Monday's board meeting. For this calendar. Yeah, to the end of the school year, with all 3 years.
So that's what I'm saying. So we're not gonna get out of school.
Wait, it's the 25th Memorial Day? So that would put us to the 26th.
This is the.
And, because we have to be off on the 19th. Okay, wait, maybe I did the math wrong. Let's do it again.
It's still.
I
Because we had 90 days.
It is.
Straight, we do 80 in the fall, we have 90 in the
Start
spring.
school back early in
Okay.
August, I said, and that was gonna do since we're out later this year.
That was the 26th, okay. If we do, okay, yeah, because the 25th is Memorial Day. So if we do that planning day in January the 16th, and we do Good Friday,
She is vetoing that.
that puts us coming back, what,
She's gonna do a filibuster, she said,
on what?
coming back on the 26th.
That's what we're doing this year. Aren't they doing that this year?
We're coming, we have to come back 2 or 3 days this year, yeah.
Yeah, but it comes back,
But then we can say, yeah, but we got an extra week. That if we start a week early, people will not want to come back after a longer day.
But when you take that day,
you
you gotta have that back,
can't,
we
you
start
can't have it all.
Day, you gotta have that day back for the teachers, we gotta get,
Yes.
try to get everything in 6 days.
So do we take Good Friday or do we take half day?
What was the other one? Good Friday, what was the other one?
The planning day on January 26th. Or the planning day in March, But I think if you were gonna take a planning day
Just hard to shake
away,
our head on that one.
if you would not wanna take the March one.
Yeah.
They already have
So
a
if we wanna get out on the 22nd, we
The
have to either
16th.
take
March 16th.
January.
January 16th or Good Friday.
So then you're gonna be required to do.
January, oh, I think so too. I think so too. I can't see people not wanting Good Friday.
What's the question again? What is it?
If we wanna get it back before Memorial Day,
Mhm.
then our options are taking January 26th or Good Friday. Excuse me, January 16th or Good Friday. I have horrible trouble with numbers. January 16th,
She has a 2013 calendar she's
Yes.
working on.
yes.
Yeah, I would go with.
I don't have no extra days tomorrow.
So then.
The 10th
In
of
January,
doesn't
you may have weather.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
That's true, yeah. It's just the planning day, we have to take that January planning. Yeah, I don't think anybody's gonna take, if they have a choice between Good Friday or the 16th of January, I mean,
Right, yeah.
Especially since not.
who's got anything fun they wanna do on January 16th? Yeah. Take Good Friday. So that would put us at the 22nd,
That's the last day for kids.
as the last day for kids, but
So
then
we
teachers
still
have to come back on the 26th.
What's the Good Friday?
April the 3rd. Are we leaving Good Friday or?
Right now, we took January
Okay,
16th.
taking it
out.
off.
We're leaving Good Friday.
Oh, we're
And
taking
left Good
January
Friday.
I think we're two different stories here. I think some think we're gonna be here on Good Friday and some of us think we're not gonna be.
Oh,
Which way is it?
I thought we were taking off.
They're taking off
Taking
Good
off.
Friday, but you're going to come back to school, and we're going to take away that January 16th and have that back.
We are off from school Good Friday, no school Good Friday.
those are
No
the
school
days
Good
that-
Friday, okay.
Good Friday.
Okay, that's what, okay.
That's what we-
And then the 16th of January, we're gonna be here.
Yes, we think.
Okay.
That's what's on the
Miss
table.
Brenda
Okay.
never marked January 16th, so she had a premonition.
Oh.
I didn't mark it either.
I thought you were
I
going
couldn't.
to do that.
So that still puts us though with teachers coming back, and staff coming back the 26th for closing day after Memorial Day. Is that an issue?
I mean, is it ideal? No. Ideally, we would love to be done on that Friday and say, see you later,
That's a big change.
but
How would we make it, what would we have to do to be able to be done with
You want to add another day?
you'd have to start a day earlier or take one of the other
it? So we have to
days.
start on a
No.
Wednesday?
Was that starting on the 13th or the 14th?
That's if we start on Thursday the 14th.
And if you also,
If
well,
you
if you
push
want
it back
to
to-
take off another day and you take off that January day, then
It makes even more days we have to get in
Oh,
before, there's no way to get,
Exactly.
not starting that early.
if we want all of June and July off, there's no
Right.
way to get them all in.
That's right. That is correct.
Or would it help if they just started on that next Monday, the 18th?
Nobody wants to go a full week.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of things we don't want to do.
Oh, as a teacher standpoint, that's because you need those first 2 or 3 days to get to know your kids and to regroup. A full week starting is a tough week.
It's really hard on
If you're
kindergartners.
going to push it back and start from the 18th, not start on the 20th, but you're going to, so the thing is, if you push it back, you're going to have to come back to there after Memorial Day. So you're going to just decide if you want to be out on Memorial Day and start early and start back in July.
So why is it we can't start the 13th? Sorry.
You can. Teachers will just need to come back at the end of July to be able to get those dates.
She was just saying the teachers like June and July off, like the whole month.
This
So
year,
that's saying
this year, we got to,
Stay the whole
I'm
month.
not Miss Shannon, the teachers enjoyed
They
it.
enjoyed
They
that.
they actually had 2 full months without us asking them to come into training. And I know in the grand scheme of things, that probably is not the best perception for people to have to hear. But it gave them 2 months, and then we came in and hit it hard in August and had we all offset, the middle school and high school and elementary schools offset our PD days and open house days so that we could get everything in that's required with these other days before. which is why you're going after Memorial Day this year, but
And, I mean, with us starting this year, currently on the 21st, and you're changing, it's gonna shorten summer this year for everybody, so that's for students and teachers, and then the
so you're not
teachers
gonna get out
aren't
until
getting that
May
extra week.
30th.
Yeah.
And teachers are gonna have to come back in the end of July to be able to get.
So you're shortening the summer regardless, either way, and pushing the date up.
So now that we took that one day out, you gotta do 6 days in the summer plus opening day.
No, this is.
So-
Three,
This current school.
4, 5, yeah, if you're taking the January day away.
If we take it away,
Yeah, you got
so it'd be 6 plus opening seven.
day and
So if
opening.
we start on the 13th, then that would give you 8 days of August to get 7 days in. So you're saying that would not want to push them back to back like that? Is that what you're saying?
Would that mean we would be doing the same days as like they would be doing, so like our open house and stuff might be on the same day as, would that matter?
Y'all would just flip them. Y'all would just flip them like they would do a,
No, middle and high school needs theirs before, and I completely understand that because of scheduling. That means we're gonna have to push back and be ready the 1st of August to have our opening day open house. And not that this matters to really a whole lot of people, but that also gives your janitors 8 weeks to get schools completely stripped down and ready to, by the time you turn around and get them back, since we're not losing kids till May 30th. That means we have to have opening house by August, and you're looking at 8 weeks to get schools ready. And I know that sounds like a whole lot of time, but you're stripping floors.
This may be a dumb question, but is your planning days a full day? Or scheduled for full days, correct?
so then KJ, are you saying we'd be better off to leave it on Thursday the 14th and have people come back on the 26th?
Well, if you're gonna start the 13th or the 14th, I think one difference is going much
Okay.
better. Because I don't think anybody's interested in waiting till the next week.
So, but it's, okay,
So
so
ideally,
then,
that's what helps your beginning of the year, but.
so then if we started on the 13th, then everybody would get out. Then the last day would be on the 21st and everybody would get out the teachers would be done on the 22nd.
If we start with kids.
You start with kids on 13.
If we start, because if we start on the 13th, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 August days to get 7 days in.
Last day, 21st.
So there would still be a day off in there.
Is that something you can put on a survey? Or you're not interested? Well, I'm just saying, like, is it an option that you give them those 2 options weeks, give them the 2-week options to see what people prefer? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
I don't know, everybody
Yeah.
says that overwhelmingly people didn't like on the 20th. I mean, I don't know. I'm there all summer long, so I don't.
Well, I'm there all summer long too.
Yeah, so
but
no,
I've had
yeah.
numerous people,
They
That didn't like it or did like it?
no, I'm not having.
You have more people, you know, sunny day, hot days.
But
That's my thought.
Which I'm sure, that's why I want
Yeah.
That makes
that,
us nervous now.
I mean, I would rather have,
I don't know, already running into
first week of
June.
June.
It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, so
But
I'm
when we started late, I had complaints in anticipation of this government committee, I've had complaints.
Really?
But that's just me, I mean, that's just, other people may have had praise.
We're not gonna have everybody.
People
back.
like
Thank you very much.
Didn't like the
Because
way
you
it
helped us on
started.
that, especially if the guys helped us with that.
And I've had some say they do, but as a majority, most
November
didn't.
days.
And I think
And
one
Good
thing is
Friday.
they saw that we were starting later and our
We'll email-
Christmas,
we'll email-
because we
we'll
were,
email you
I think
guys
they
what's
attached
next.
starting
Later.
later
Later.
to
And I hope to see your
Christmas.
name on an application.
And not having,
All
I
right.
think is the big
Thank you.
thing, because they attached the two together. They said, yes.
Yeah.
Yep, they attached the two together.
They didn't really look at where Christmas fell.
Right, and to them, to outside looking in, all they knew is we started later, therefore we don't get a Christmas break like we normally do ahead of time.
Okay, thank you. So Ms. KJ, say it again, say what you
No,
would like.
you're
We
good.
always do surveys, so
Yeah,
tell
no,
us
I
what you
mean,
want to survey.
obviously, nobody wants to push it back that week anyway, so.
Okay, so where do you think it's to ask them if they would rather,
But I was just saying, if you can give them the option the 13th or the 20th, like if you're asking, but no, I mean, apparently that's like gonna be a no-no, so I don't know that you wanna waste your time asking.
If you're here, are you here to the contrary? I mean, if your parents and faculty and staff said, yeah, we like that late stuff?
I'm
just
not,
asking.
none of my teachers
We
complain.
didn't put anything on the survey, that's not, it may be overwhelming. maybe the people that didn't like it are the only ones that voiced.
We run into dual credit classes starting too.
Yes, that was an issue at the high school.
That is an issue.
Their classes started before school ever
Before
started.
school started.
And that was.
And they're high school students, they're not familiar with, I mean, it's a lot of responsibility, so we get kids behind, we get kids.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, we've missed assignments, what do we do? And so it just.
That was significant.
And-
I'm glad you brought that up.
And this semester too, I mean, you know, in January, it's gonna be.
And that later
Somerset starts at one time, Campbellville Western starts at another time, and so.
The later start.
Yeah, Western's good. They're good.
Lindsay
Western
Wilson's
break
college
is-
started before we did this year.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
Western's good, we're fine with them starting dual credit, but I think Somerset starts,
They start early.
yeah.
And
they start-
Lindsay too, Lindsay Wilson College started before we
So
did.
our dual credit, it just wasn't a favorable schedule to the high school, pretty much all the way around. We covered it, we did it, we're gonna do it, we're gonna make it, and it'll be fine, and they're doing well with it, but it just, our teachers were just not.
I will say as a parent, I like the earlier idea in August. I know that makes it hard on the teachers. And it's for a completely selfish reason. My daughter's birthday's at the end of August, and she absolutely hated starting on the 21st and her birthday falling on the 23rd.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I got to hear about that a lot.
Well, you're gonna get out before Memorial Day, to start with 13th, so.
Yeah.
That'll be a positive, should be the deciding factor. Because that's tough.
It was tough, yeah.
I mean,
Well,
this
they
is
all-
like
well,
basically
We had a lot of
getting back my
tears.
students' responsibility that
Yeah,
normally
we
they would
didn't
just have.
hadn't started school yet, yes, but you're
So
2
the
weeks
10th
behind.
of, okay,
Yeah, some of the ones that had dual credit before they were, you know, and Ms. Grigson does a great job as far as the reminds and telling them that she was on it and stuff, but still they don't get it in their
That
head.
mindset, yeah.
They have to get in that mindset, so that gives us some time to, you know, your dual credits are gonna start this next week, and just meet, we meet and talk, and, yeah, it kind of just brings us all out first.
Is it detrimental to have planning days like the last couple days of July to give you guys more time for open house and stuff, or is that just?
Oh, no, we've done it.
No, we used to do it all spread out, yes. They just, yeah, it just has worked out better to kind of do this whole, this is your report date back to work. You know, kind of gets people more in the mindset of, I'm here, versus kind of coming to go and breaking it up, yeah.
And if you do it during the summer, from a teacher point of view, like if I come in July or June, my mind's not
Yeah.
back here yet.
Yeah.
And then by the time you come back to school, you're like, wait.
Yeah, what did we do?
What did we even?
What did we
I guess
do?
my thought
Yeah.
is that if it was the last couple days of July, you're still in work mode up until
Yeah.
school, because you're still having your other planning days into August, your open houses, your opening day, and
I don't know that it'd be that significant to have some that last week.
Like that, no, it wouldn't, if we had to.
just to kind of give you a break, you know, because you're just gonna be slammed.
Well, I think it comes down to, at this point, the question is, do you want to back that day up to Wednesday so that we can mix closing day on the 26th and get teachers out before Memorial Day? Or do you want to start on Thursday?
Or is that a specific question for a survey? And then that'd be two options.
That would be two options. I'm good with that too.
I'm just throwing that out there.
I'm good with that too.
But then I also think it's pretty neat when you all have a calendar, just essentially, here it is, give us your input too.
Who are you surveying?
We always send this.
I know, but
All
I'm-
employees and parents and.
That's what I'm gonna say, because your parents are gonna be thinking, like the kids will be saying they will come back on the 15th, give them another day.
Yeah.
But your teachers are like, this is crazy. We're gonna be coming back, they're off on Monday, and then we have to come back on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So, I mean, is that really something that you want to give the parent an option for one day? You see what I'm saying? When you got your teachers that are like, they're gonna be out on Friday.
I do, and to support that,
Uh-huh.
this year, it was 3-1, or, yeah, well, however you do that. It's 75% of the people liked us starting a week later, but yet we got tons of complaints about starting a week later. And it's like, well, wait a minute. So if you look at the data of, so it is skewed because, it's easy from the perspective of if you're just like, well, I've got to send my kid to school anyway, it's okay, just whenever you start is fine, and I appreciate that. But then the people that it affected was like, then we got some complaints. So it does make a difference. The numbers are not always what it looks like in that sense. Yeah. Because again, parents, their kids are gonna be out either Thursday or Friday, so it's not gonna make a difference to a parent.
But it just,
Let them plan another
let it
night.
start with kids on the Wednesday then, and that way it puts the teachers out.
Okay, yeah, well,
Ms. Rhonda?
Yes.
okay, well, again, if we do that, you've got 7 days outside the calendar. And then that might be an inner poll we do, that Mrs. McFall could do with you all, KJC. Do teachers want to just do those back to back to back right then and get them over with in those first 8 days? Or so let's go back to the 13th, which will put 81 days in the fall, 89 days in the spring, and get out on the 21st for students, which would put teachers out on the 22nd. We do that math as well. But now wait, and we took the January 16th day away,
Yes.
so we had to make it.
Graduation.
That is.
Okay, I'm like, why did I start?
That is.
And we moved October 14th.
And we're taking some.
October 13th.
With the Veterans Day, the one before Veterans Day.
And we're taking Good Friday.
And we're taking Good Friday.
Which I know for high school, it's ideal. The day to have graduation when the students are out the day before, you all have your closing day and your graduation.
And project graduation.
Yes, that doesn't happen this year now because of issues, but I know that's really good for the,
22nd,
for just planning.
that's, yeah, and then.
So that would work that way for this year, I mean, for 25,
Right,
26.
and then they're done.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be.
81 days. How are you making fun? I'm your friend. 89 plus 8. So that's 170. Okay, so what then, Mr. Ford, what are your, or well, the committee in general, what are your, so what do we want to put out? Are we putting out something for feedback? Are we putting out
Last
for
year, we
feedback?
just said, here's the draft calendar, give us your input.
Okay,
We didn't have any voting per se.
and then we took the comments and kind of categorized them into the people who did make comments into, well, okay. 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 So then, if that's the case, then let's say that we put it out there, we get an overwhelming response of, that's positive, that we're good. And I send that to you all to say, let's just say, again, 75, 80%, whatever. If I send that to you all, then, and you all agree that, okay, we're good with this is the majority, whatever, then I don't think we would have to meet again. If we were to get back like something really close or some comments that are like a lot of red flags, then we might want to meet again. So what I can do is send you, once we get the survey results, once that closes, I will send you all in an email what the results are, and then you guys reply all, and we can talk about whether we think we're good to go, whether that's what we want to recommend, or whether we need to stop and regroup. Is that okay with everybody? Okay, all right. Anybody Thoughts, concerns, anything you want to throw out before we adjourn? All right, Ms. Brenda.
I second.
I guess we're all in favor. Okay.
All in favor?
All right, thank you all so